Following the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 1 year ago, Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind brings players back to the concluding moments of the game. Due to the nature of this DLC, there will be spoilers for the base game's ending, however, I'm going to do my best to not spoil some of the new additions made. When you boot up the new main menu, now featuring Sora and Kairi sharing a Paopu fruit to Dearly Beloved, players are asked to choose a save file of the beaten game to kick off the ReMind episode. Accessible through a new menu option specifically dedicated to DLC, the campaign of ReMind picks up after Master Xehanort is defeated and Sora returns in the Badlands with the other Guardians of Light. After a brief reintroduction to the events of Kingdom Hearts 3's finale, and a new look into an inciting moment of young Xehanort's life between himself and the Master of Masters, which is no doubt set up for that new mobile game, the DLC begins. Cutscenes play out mostly the same as the base game, save for improved visuals that you wouldn't really notice unless you're reviewing side by side, and while they are an impressive bump, I never thought they weren't good to begin with. The most notable change from repeating the game's conclusion actually comes from the performance of Master Xehanort. Rutger Hauer, who stepped in after the passing of Leonard Nimoy leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3's release, also passed away after the launch of Kingdom Hearts 3. Now another legend of the acting field has joined the Kingdom Hearts cast, being Doc Brown himself, Christopher Lloyd, here to play the series antagonist. And for what he's given, I think he does a great job.
Here I and my other selves can be one. United in Scholar and Column.
You finally get to dive in on gameplay probably 20 to 25 minutes after booting up the new game, where Sora decides to pursue Kairi following her downfall at the hands of Xehanort. Rather than transitioning to the final scene of the game where Sora has achieved the goal, ReMind follows the tasks he had to endure to recapture the heart of his partner. Overall, I think the story of ReMind is satisfactory in that the plot is more or less the same as the original game, with some added context as to why Sora is reliving these moments with the 7 Guardians of Light. Square Enix does offer somewhat of a brighter spotlight for the other protagonists, when they got their allotted time to shine in the concluding boss rush in the Labyrinth. With this in mind, though, and for how much attention is placed onto characters like Roxas, who didn't even really have a lot to do to begin with, it made me question what exactly he even did in the ending of the original game. And that's where the tricky part comes in with ReMind. By giving players added context and insight into lore about young Xehanort, the Master of Masters, and what is most likely the future of this franchise, it marks a new exciting chapter for Kingdom Hearts and where we're going for the story. It gets problematic and questionable when this lore is sprinkled through what is, for all intents and purposes, just a replay of the game's final hours. For those that enjoy the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, like myself, the ending is just as engaging, and I would argue that it's even more so this time around. When Sora is fighting beside a Guardian of Light in the original campaign, now you get to choose if you want to be Sora or the person he's teamed up with. Riku, Aqua, and Roxas. They all got highlighted in the ReMind DLC as playable options for you to experience, and I wanted more time with Riku and Aqua, and I wanted any time with Roxas, so seeing them play faithfully to what I expect from them with their moveset and abilities go, it felt really good. There is a point in what you're doing, though, from the moment-to-moment aspect that veers away from what Sora was doing in the base game's conclusion, and it's in these moments that I think ReMind is at its best. Mickey gets to show off his power as a Keyblade Master, the Guardians of Light work together to hold down the fort while Sora is fighting Xehanort, and yes, Kairi gets her long overdue moment to stand up beside Sora and fight the Seeker of Darkness. It is unfortunate that the opportunity for these new set pieces to KH3 comes so late in the 4 to 5 hour campaign of ReMind. While I enjoy the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, and overall enjoyed revisiting it with the new coat of paint provided here, it's unlikely that those who felt underwhelmed by the base game's conclusion will have their minds changed here. The DLC does offer more than just replaying the ending, however, in the new Limitcut episode. The Final Fantasy characters, Yuffie, Aerith, Leon, and Cid return here. Alongside Riku in the Radiant Garden, the group turn to a reconstructed data version of Sora in an attempt to find some clues of what happened to him since he saved Kairi. This little epilogue picks up about a year after the final moments of Kingdom Hearts 3, so it's exciting there, but When it comes to gameplay, it's essentially a very challenging boss rush. Doing so unlocks the secret boss and the secret ending of the game, following up on one of 3's notable cliffhangers, and potentially showing a direction for future installments. In addition to both new episodes, an expanded photo mode, and a premium menu offering modular settings for a more personalized level of challenge, there is a decent amount of content included in ReMind, all things considered, and I think it's fair to be compared to the additions found in either of the final mix releases for Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2. In the case of ReMind, its value really comes down to what you personally thought of the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, and what you find enjoyable about Kingdom Hearts. Not offering significant amounts of variety outside of the climactic boss rush that was already there a year ago, the DLC will either remind you of a satisfactory end to the Dark Seeker saga with insight to the future, or an underwhelming series of events that left you wanting more.